thank you very much for joining. As we said, this is more like a conversation than very teaching class, as you said. I'm really excited to be here because first, it's a topic that I think might interest a lot of us. And also because Matthias, his life and his career has been the living proof of 10xing your life and everything. So thank you so much for being here. I think we're going to do maybe 30 minutes of presentation, and then it's just going to be a conversation. If you have any question or if you want to share your experience as well, you're more than welcome. This is why we're doing it, just to have some real conversation about life, about success, and about how to get to the next level. So Matthias, thank you for joining, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Lucy. So thanks again, everyone. Just wanted to acknowledge you, to find the time, because I guess we all have 100 other things to do right now, and to see you there with us is amazing. So thank you for that. As Lucy already said, this might be a little bit different of a masterclass. What I would love to do is to present like the key concepts of this 10x perspective, and then also, give you the opportunity to join our conversation here. And it's all about no bullshit, but just the real talk. And what I would love to do is just to share my screen and give you a little bit of an overview who I am, and also how the 10x mindset formed me, and also give you a story of a client of mine, which is pretty amazing. So let's share the screen. Go there. Can you see it, Lucy?
Yeah, we can.
Screen, awesome.
Full screen, yeah.
Yeah, so why 10x is easier than 2x? The inner shift that changes everything. The first time when I became aware of like this 10x mindset, it just blew my mind. It's like, hey, I'm trying to be better at things, and it's almost like, incremental steps. And these were really hard steps, but then there is this perspective of 10x, and all of a sudden everything changes. And I just want to also invite you for this session with us. Please be open and come with a beginner's mind. So what does this mean? What I'm sharing here, that's my truth of the 10x mindset, right? That's not the whole or the real truth, but it's a truth with a small t. It's like my truth, how I'm seeing it. And if you see it from the beginner's mind, which means, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few, and you stay open, I'm pretty sure you will find something for you as well to grab and to integrate for you. So just be open to it. And I also want to ask you to be 100% committed when you're in the room. Be here 100%, no distraction. This will get you the most out of it. And so there's just Akmal joining, so I need to do that. Sorry for this. So that's, where is it? Here we are. Admit Akmal. Okay, and back to this.
So you can see when someone is
I can see, yeah, but I need to get out of the slides.
Perfect.
You can see the slides again?
Yeah, we can.
Cool.
It's
Awesome.
fine, no worries.
Yeah, so the whole idea behind this 10x mindset is 10x is not about doing more, because that's the trap that a lot of people fall into if you talk about, how to reach this 10x outcome or this 10x goals. It's like the first thought might be, okay, but then I need to do more. I need to 10x my doing. And that's impossible, as we know, because we are busy anyhow with all the things that we're doing. So if you want to 10x this, it's a pretty sure way to into burnout, I would say. So it's not about doing more. The concept, it's about becoming someone different. And you will see some examples here, and they will get also deeper into that, what it means to become someone different. You might have read this book, so we borrowed the title 10x is easier than 2x from this fabulous book from Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy, where it's all about, how world-class entrepreneurs achieve more. And the funny thing is, like, by doing less, you're not actually doing more to reach the 10x, you're doing less. So that's interesting, I thought in the beginning. I loved the book. So if you haven't read it so far, get it. It has a lot of great food for thought. This shouldn't be like a masterclass about the book. I just want to give you two core ideas of it, and then we move on to my own example, so that you get a more feel to it, how it's possible and what it's possible with that. So the main idea here is the 2x is like an incremental improvement. If you want to earn more money or double the amount of money you want to earn or double the success or whatever your metric is, it's more like, okay, I need to do more to get there. Probably if you want to double something, I need to double the time I'm spending, double the amount of time or the work that I'm doing. So that's like an incremental improvement. And that's more about the doing, you start doing more. And the problem with that is when you start doing more, most likely you're doing all the time. And I'm working with so many leaders and entrepreneurs who are like on all the time. They tell me it feels like I'm on a roller coaster for the last 10 years without a stop button, and I can't find it. So this would be like the doing more, the hustle culture, coming from anxiety and fear-based. So this would be the 2x mindset. The 10x mindset, on the other hand, is like an exponential leap. It's like an identity shift and letting go of what no longer fits. So what does this even mean, like an identity shift, letting go of what no longer fits? And we will get into this in a minute, but it's really more like, who are you becoming, right? Who are you becoming as a 10x version of yourself? And one thing in the book is like, you cannot 10x with the same identity that created your current results. So, it's more like letting go of 80% of the things that keep you stuck in 2x. So that's like what's in the book. And I was like, whoa, that's wild. Imagine if you need to let go 80% of the things that you're doing right now to move forward 10x. Like how scary is that, right? To think about it. It's like, what is the 80% I need to let go of, and just focusing on the 20% that really bring me forward. So that's the idea or the concept of the 10x in the book. And I want to quickly share like my story, my life story, and how this 10x mindset played into it, even though I wasn't aware of it. But somehow I always followed this 10x mindset. So that's me here, probably 3 years old with my parents in Austria. My mom was a shop assistant in a shoe shop. My dad did night shifts in a steel company, and high achieving was never a topic in our family. I had a loving and great childhood, but it wasn't about performing or whatever, because this wasn't in our family DNA. However, I studied molecular biology. So first of all, I was the first one who studied at the university. None of my family members ever studied. And then I did a PhD in molecular biology. And I also was working at one of the most prestigious institutes in San Diego that you can see here on the right. And I'm not telling you this story to brag and how cool I am, but more like, what's possible from coming from a really grounded family where it wasn't a topic to high perform or whatever. And then all of a sudden I was in this space of, a PhD in molecular biology. So this was kind of the first step, the first stage. Nonetheless, when I had my PhD, I felt there needs to be more to it. I thought I studied 9 years, and then I thought, this is not where my heart wants to lead me to. And just a second here, because Mathieu is joining. Okay. So yeah, coming back to this day when I was driving to work with my bike, was cycling, and all of a sudden I heard this inner voice telling me, why are you not becoming a concert photographer? And I was like, shit, what's that? A concert photographer? I've never heard of that before. You know, I liked music. I was playing in a band when I was a young boy. I started to take photos from flowers and some, you know, some random stuff when I was 32 years old. And then there was this voice inside of me saying, why do you know, become a concert photographer? And I clearly remember when I came to work, I was like Googling concert photography, and boom, there it was. There are people out there who are making a living shooting their idols and the biggest rock stars. And so when I finished my PhD, I took my PhD thesis and said, you know what, on my certificate, I'm becoming a concert photographer following this intuition, right? Switching my identity, like from a prestigious molecular biologist or like a prestigious role as a molecular biologist, as a researcher, as a scientist, to become like a concert photographer, because something inside of me told me to do it. And I jumped on this. And a couple of years later, I was an international music photographer. I took photos of, you know, all the great and awesome rock bands like Metallica, and I was shooting Miley Cyrus. And here I was with Instagram in France. And I even flew 5 times to Saudi Arabia to shooting the diary season. It was called shortly before COVID. And so again, it was like this identity shift of, I didn't do more in a way. It wasn't about the doing. Yes, there was doing involved, but it was more like, who was I becoming? It's like, oh, I want to be a concert photographer. What are the 80% that I need to let go of, and what are the 20% to focus on to move forward? So I became a concert photographer. So this was like phase number 2. Phase number 3 was like when my kids were born. I have 2 kids. Mia is 9 and Noah is 7. And when Mia was born, I thought I want to be a stay-at-home dad. And now my identity shifted again. It's like, how can I be a stay-at-home dad and do the things that I love, being a concert photographer? So I had this idea of writing a blog post, and I started a personal blog, how to become a rockstar photographer. And I was just writing down what I'm experiencing, right, and what I'm learning. And all of a sudden, a couple of years later, I built one of the biggest concert photography communities worldwide, and I sold a course, had a 6-figure business with selling online courses and whatnot. And also here, it's like, you know, the identity shift of molecular biologist, and then I shifted my identity to a photographer, and then all of a sudden it's an online business owner. And this was like an inside shift. This was not because I was doing so much, but it was more like who I was becoming. And then COVID hit, and the whole music business was dead. And then I moved on and kind of reinvented myself again. So, and I can remember I was sitting, I had no clue what to do. And then kind of a coaching book found me. A friend of mine gave it to me. I did a course, a weekend course online. It's like, it blew my mind. It's like the first question was, what's your dream? And I was hooked. And so a couple of years later, I'm now the founder of Achieve from Inner Peace, and I help leaders and entrepreneurs to lead from their being and create extraordinary results. So it's exactly like helping them with the identity shift, because they're doing so much and they're all doers. And what I'm also seeing, this identity shift will make this 10x way more easier for them than struggling to get to the goals by having incremental, having this incremental perspective. So another concept, real quick, because this is important to understand, and this helped me a lot. I got this from the University of Santa Monica when I was doing a workshop there and was participating. So what they're talking about is about the goal line and soul line. And if you have a look at this physical world reality, the goal line we're doing in 2x is placed here. So this is kind of the line where most of us are operating, right? It has a polarity, it has a minus and a plus, which means if we have less of something, you know, we have not enough money, we have not enough status, we have whatever it is, we have less of or lack of, then we feel that's not where we want to be. We are always drawn to having more, like on the plus side, you know, a better car, more money, a better house, a bigger apartment, a bigger ship, whatever it is. And what I'm seeing by working with a lot of high achievers is that it almost becomes like this donkey with the, you know, with the carrot and the stick. You reach a goal and then you feel fulfilled for like an hour or a day or whatever it is. And then it's like, ooh, there is even something more. And you jump from one goal to the next. And most likely this is coming from a being or state of scarcity and of lack of, you know, you have too less, you want more. And it becomes like this hunt for feeling good when you reach something. And this is most likely not a materialistic world. It's we want to buy all this stuff. We want to have the status. This is like the ego world. And it's nothing wrong with that. So that's one reality. Like that's where the doing takes place. This is where we're doing. And most likely on a long-term sustainable basis, we're not really feeling fulfilled. And then there is the soul line where the being takes place. And that's the spiritual reality, they call it. And that's the our inner being, who we are, you know, why are we on this planet? What's our bigger purpose? What's our alignment? And if you do the things in alignment with who you really are, things start to flow, right? And what you have seen with my little story and my life story, it's like, I didn't decide to become that in a way. It was more like, hey, let's follow it. It's like a feeling I have. And I will just let Habra in before we continue here. Okay, back to that. So basically, 10x comes from the alignment, not from the pressure. The doing, the goal line is all about pressure. Doing more, pressuring more. The 10x comes more from the alignment, who you really are. That comes from your heart, that comes from love. That is what really feels fulfilled, or that fulfills you. That is what the 10x, where the origin, I would say, from the 10x comes from. And just shortly, some of the identity level shifts that I found helpful, and hopefully you can take some of them with you, or just, you know, at least giving you a perspective on that. So what I found is, like, if I'm approaching life from a perspective of I am a doer before ready, growth, exponential growth always happened. And what does it mean? I'm a doer before ready means that I do things before I feel ready for it. You know, and this can be in any life situations. This can be professionally. If you do something that you're not really feeling, you're already there, but you're doing it anyhow. You know, sometimes it's, I need to figure it out first and then start to walk. But if you start walking and figuring it out during the journey, whatever the journey is, this will kind of fuel you. It's like rocket fuel. For example, I'm working now with my mentor and coach, JP Morgan from Hawaii. And, you know, all of a sudden things are possible that weren't possible before, because I had like such a fear, and now it's opening up and I have a different perspective because I have someone who's challenging me on that. And that's really helpful. So I'm a doer before ready. It's like a mantra that really, it's like rocket fuel, and this brings you to places where it might have not been possible before if you're coming from a playing small perspective. Another 10x identity level shift is like I'm playing by my own rules. What does that mean? It's not I'm not obeying rules, so I'm driving when the traffic light is red. It's not that, but it's when people say that's not possible, you can't make this. We're not doing these kind of things, or it has never worked out, or it won't be a good idea. I mean, in all of these stages and all my transitions, there were people who said, hey, that's not possible. How should this work out? Why should you be a photographer? How can you be a molecular biologist when no one ever studied? How can you coach leaders and entrepreneurs when you're just starting out and you don't know what to do? So it's more like not accepting the reality of others that might want to warn you. Most likely it's not that they are, they have a good intention to say, hey, that's not working. I don't think that's working. That's not a good idea. I won't do that. But most likely it comes from their own fear or from jealousy, because they might see something in you that they want to have, or they want to be as courageous as you. So playing by my own rules always helped. The next 10x identity level shift is like I take 100% responsibility for my doing. You always have a choice. If something happens, you have a choice how to react to it. Like COVID was like a global phenomenon. It's like all of a sudden everything came to a halt. And for me personally, I had the choice of, hey, everything is shit, and my business is not working anymore, and I need to leave that, and maybe I'm depressed for 2 years or whatever, or I take the responsibility and say, hey, okay, that's happening, but it's my choice what I'm doing with that. And bringing back the responsibility to you is really kind of gives you the choice and gives you the power to take decisions for yourself. It's not about out there. Yes, I know things are happening without us doing anything to it, but then it's like how I'm reacting to it and what I'm doing with it. So 100% responsibility. And then this is something that changed the whole game again, and I learned this from my mentor, where you take the responsibility and you take the ownership. It's like, and the 2 questions that he asked me that completely changed my world and that I'm asking myself every day is like, who do I need to be? And how am I creating that? Imagine you have a disagreement with your partner or at work, and most likely we start to judge and blame. It's like it's their fault, and I'm feeling bad because of you. But what if you ask yourself, how am I creating that situation? So this brings you out from the victimhood, is everything is happening to me, to a more creation perspective, where it's like, hey, maybe I just admit that I play my role also in how I'm creating that. And how can I shift that? And what's my part to that, right? And who do I need to be is plays in the same manner. It's like, who do I need to be more successful? Who do I need to be to live the dream life I want? It's like the identity shift. And using these questions will help you to get a glimpse of what's possible if you play with that. And I just go back because Navid is joining. And I am back. So, and then I want to offer you a case study, because, talking about the 10x mindset and what it is and what's possible, it's all great. And sometimes it's hard to grasp. Sometimes it's hard to get the point, or is it just, maybe I was lucky to have this life? I don't know. I don't believe that, right? I created it. But let's get a real-time example of Aaron Venables, who is an awesome client of mine. And I was working with him through a situation, and I want to share it with you because this clearly demonstrates like the 10x identity shift. So Aaron Venables, he's an awesome guy. He's a high achiever I have never met before. He's a chief commercial officer in life science for a company. He's a charity chair of board of trustees. So he's also big in charity. He has a big heart, and he's like a fucking awesome, great cyclist. I mean, what he did is like during COVID, for example, he told me he was bored and he sat down on his bicycle, or like his home trainer, and he cycled 18 hours straight with an inclination of 10%, which equals like cycling up the Mount Everest. So he's that kind of guy, right? He's really a super high achiever. And when he came to me, he said, I have this new role in this company as a sales leader. And we saw like huge performance shifts, 20% plus revenue in the last couple of months when he joined the company and the team. And what also was true is like he had migraines. And when he had the call, he said like 2 weeks ago it started. I have migraines every day. I have almost no sleep for 2 weeks. And I'm just overwhelmed with the whole situation. And what also became clear is he said, I feel unseen, I feel undervalued, and I feel afraid because I have this job. I need to perform this, and I need to obey, because otherwise, if they kick me out, I'm afraid I'm losing the money, and I need the financial securities and so on. So this was kind of his starting point. And so we got into, or we had a deep conversation about it. And in the end, what he said is like, I'm feeling like a puppy, like a small puppy who is obeying, who is playing it small, who is doing everything they want from me, even though I'm in a management position. I'm the sales leader. There is all this growth in the company, but I'm feeling not seen. I don't like how they treat me, and I'm feeling myself as a puppy. And so this was like his present situation. And then we talked it through and we co-created together. And then he created a different identity, right? And he came up and said, I want to be a bull. And he said it in a more concrete way with the effort, but he wants to be the bull because he's just sick of being treated like that. And I could feel it. So this was the identity shift, in one snippet of a second during the conversation. It's like, oh, wow, that's a different Aaron. It's, he's like, woo, he's on fire. He's on power. He's back in his strength. And he said, you know what? This can't go on, because if I'm the puppy, I will go straight into burnout because it's too much. I cannot handle it. And so with this identity shift of being the bull, something remarkable happened. What he did is he said, you know what, I have a call with the boss, with the CEO from the company, and I will talk to him straight, a hard conversation about how I'm feeling, what I'm going through, and there needs to be a change. And he was coming from a completely different energy, not the energy of, I'm scared that I lose my job and I don't know what to do because of the financial situation. It was more like, I'm taking a stand for myself, and I'm in alignment. I'm more in alignment with the bull and not with the puppy in this case. So he took 100% responsibility for how he was creating his situation, taking the responsibility and asking, again, like I said before, like, how am I creating that? Yes, you can say it's all their fault, and I'm the victim and I can't do anything. Or you say, okay, they're doing their thing, but I'm also doing my thing because it seems I'm playing, or I'm opening the possibility that they can do this with me. And he said, no, it's over, So he started to act from alignment, not from fear. And this changed everything. So first of all, he had this conversation with his boss, and his boss said, okay, you know what? I see you, I give you a promotion. So he got the first promotion, right? Just by being himself, standing up and having this identity shift. And then we played further, and he said, oh, as a bull, what can I do? Maybe I just apply for another job, because he was so in his power. So he applied for another job. This was in Switzerland. And all of a sudden, he got the second job as well. So he had like his old job and the second job. And this new job, they offered him more money. So what he did, he got back to his old boss and said, I'm quitting because I have a new job. And all of a sudden, he made him a counter offer and gave him another promotion. So that's just crazy. I mean, he didn't do anything more. It's just his whole identity shifts. And then this is like a WhatsApp message where he says, hey, Matthias, I hope all is well. He decided to stay at his former job because he got just announced my new promotion yesterday. So my third promotion here in 1.5 years, not too bad. And finally, I got pay raise with this one, right? And that's huge. That's not because Aaron did more in a way. He did even less work during this time. But his identity shifted, and he showed up completely different. And all of a sudden, he gets 3 promotions in 1.5 years, which is just awesome, right? And then he writes in the end, thank you, Matthias, for help and guidance. I feel very confident taking on this role. I have set good boundaries and hope that they respect them. I have set good boundaries and I feel very confident. And that's a completely different Aaron that I started to work with in the beginning. So again, just to say or tell you or show you what's possible when you do this identity shift. So it's really more from the inside out than from doing more things. So Aaron didn't 10x by doing more. He 10x because he became someone different. And that's the key point that I want to make with this 10x mindset. Also, 10x is not about being superhuman. That's not, you don't need to be superhuman. You don't need to be the ultra marathon runner, whatever, the elite athlete or the guy with the highest IQ. It's like, it's in us. Everyone have access to it. We just have lost this access to listen to ourselves because there is so much going on outside that we kind of, get distracted by. So the 10x is a natural expression of who you become when you stop playing small. When you allow yourself to really open up and see the possibilities, and you connect with your longing and your heart again, miracles will happen. It's not saying that's easy. It's not saying that you don't need to work. And it's just, it's not about sitting at your sofa, watching TV and praying for the miracle and everything happens. No, I mean, it's work. It's the 20% that you focus on, and you focus fully on it. You take full responsibility, and you're following your inner alignment. And the inner shift is what makes exponential results possible. So that's the thing. So 2x is effort, 10x is identity. And I would love to invite you now for a conversation with Lucy and me when you open for it. And, asking yourself, who would you need to become to make your own 10x shift? Who would you need to become to make your own 10x shift? And excited and looking forward for a fruitful conversation here with all of you. Thank you.